Hello and welcome to Love Anything Art. Today I will show you how I made these 3 different pieces of jewelry. First, I have a bunch of scrap pieces of clay. These are itty bitty random little pieces that just kind of came off bigger chunks, and I have a lot of them, random colors. So what you'll need is just a chunk of these. Of course, remove your cat hairs. But you just need just a good amount of scrap clay. And I would like to take a moment and welcome everybody to my channel. I so appreciate you being here today. If you are a returning subscriber, it is so good to see you. I appreciate your continued support. And if you are new here, please consider hitting that subscribe button or liking and commenting on the video. It really does help out my channel. I would appreciate it. Just take a chunk of your scraps and chop it up and mix it up really good. Get rid of any big chunks that might be present. And then just roll it up into a tube shape. And very nice and random. All my pieces are stuck together. And then I'll just start gently rolling it, just to connect all of the pieces together at first. And once I have it rolled out to a good length, then I will start rolling it in one direction. And this will give you a nice little swirl pattern. And this is about how thick I have mine. You can also see those little swirls in there. And you'll just want to lay it on a flat surface and begin snaking it back and forth. You do want to make sure that it is big enough for your cutter. Alright, now that I have it all pieced together, just flip it over, give it a nice gentle press. You don't want to flatten your little rows, but you do want to make sure everything's kind of joined together just a little bit. And I've taken a sandwich baggie, cut it in half, and then just cut off that zip part at the top. And I'm going to use this so that I can get a nice circular, even, round, domed cut out. I would sandwich it between the 2 pieces of the baggie, and that way it doesn't stick to your surface and you can keep your shape better. Just place your circle cutter on top and cut out your shape. Make sure you get a nice clean cut. Move away those scraps, keep those, and there you go. And then you could just gently peel it off the back. I'm going to use a small circle cutter, and this is to cut out a circle at the top. You do want to make sure you leave enough room at the top so that it is sturdy and strong enough so it doesn't break. And I'm just trying to measure it so I can get it as centered as possible. That's why I have the big circle cutter on there. I feel like it gives me a better depth perception. And then the little piece you cut out, keep that because that will be the top part of your earring that you can glue to your earring backing. I'm going to place this on a spoon, and this is just to give it a small little domed shape. You can leave yours flat. I just feel like the more little details you add to something, the prettier it is. Just press down all of the edges flat against your spoon. And you can leave it like it is, or if you have any powders, any like sheer kind of powders, you can put it on your earrings. I just feel like it gives it nice iridescent color, but also you can still see all those pretty colors underneath from the clay. I don't know, I just felt like it really added some pizzazz to them. And I did that to the earrings, the circle parts, the big circles, and I did not do it to the small circles. You can do it to both if you want. I did bake it and put a jump ring at the top that I glued in. And I did one for the small circle so they can hang together. I will drill a small hole right below the metal hook that I put in there. And I'm going to use this small little piece of stick pin with the little flat piece on the end, and I'll place a pretty little bead on there. And you will need a little bit of glue to get this to stick into your clay. Just a little dot, and then you can put your metal finding in there and keep your bead in there. I felt like this really added a lot to the piece. Kind of livened it up, gave it a little focal point. Did that to both sides, and then I will assemble my earrings. And ta-da! And you can put resin on there if you want. It will seal in those powders if you did put powders, but I'm not really interested in that, and I just like them the way they are. Stay tuned, I have 2 more cute little ideas for you. Okay, scrap clay once again. Use whatever kind of scraps you want. I'm just trying to get rid of all these itty bitty little pieces I have. You'll need a big chunk like you did last time. And again, just chop up any of those big pieces that you have. Lay it out into a flat, square-like shape. Just gently start pressing everything together. And you can also use a roller. Be sure to flip it over and do the other side and make everything even. And this is my piece. It's kind of pretty. Each side is different. Love it. And that is about how thick I made it. You will need a piece of white clay or whatever color you choose. I've chosen white. And you do want to roll it out to the same thickness as your scrap clay that you rolled out. You can do this through the pasta machine, or you can just eyeball it. Cut them down into the same sized square shape. And then you will begin cutting off strips. And I do want mine to be as even as possible in the same thickness and width. So I will cut one and place it above the next cut line. Make sure it's nice and even, and then cut. And I'll continue doing this with my entire piece. Alright, so I have all my pieces cut. They're nice and laid out. Basically, you'll just want to peel them apart and lay them side by side, alternating between whatever color you chose. Mine is white, and then my scrap clay. And they do have a little bit of the scrap clay color on there, but I will place that on the bottom and it won't be seen. Just be sure to make sure it's tucked against the previous stripe that you have. You just do that with the edge of the tissue blade, making sure everything is pressed together. Give it a very gentle roll, not to flatten, but just to try and get all of the pieces stuck together. Place it on a piece of paper if you wish, for ease of cutting. And I have my 4 set of circle cutters. And I will place those on my scrap clay striped pattern. Once I have them laid on there and I like the way they look, I will cut them all out. And just to show you what it'll look like after it's all stacked, I placed the largest one on the spoon, on the back of it, to make it a dome shape. And then with the tiniest one, I did the same thing. And with the 2 center pieces, they will be flat. I went ahead and baked my pieces. And then I will put a layer of resin on each one. They are all resined up and shiny. I'm going to put a small little dollop of resin on the largest one, and then the next largest one I'll place on top of that. Being sure to make my stripes offset, and then you can just cure it and then finish stacking them up. And I did put mine on a hair clip. This would really be cute as a pin or a brooch, or if you have a hat or something, you could glue that to a hat. But I just thought that was really cute. Please stay tuned, I do have one more idea for you. Alright, you'll just use the remaining of your pattern that you made from the last project, and using the largest circle cutter, find the prettiest wavy length patterns that you can find, and cut out your shape. I'm going to cut it a little bit longer than the halfway mark. And with that larger piece, I'm going to place it on the corner of a baking loaf pan so that I can get a nice domed shape. Be sure to press down all of the sides so they are flush against the baking surface. Just like that. And then bake it. Once it's baked, I did go ahead and sand down the bottom part here and the top part here so it's all nice and smooth. Rolled out a piece of white clay. You could really use whatever color you think complements your piece. I'm going to place that between a piece of paper, sandwich it in between there, give it a nice roll. Then I'm going to place this between 2 flat surfaces, and I'll let it sit there for about 30 minutes, and this will leach some of those oils out of there to make it a bit firmer. As you can see here on my paper, It did take out quite a few of those excess oils. Take your cutout that you baked and place it on the clay. And I'm going to gently press that into place. Not enough to poke it through to the other side, but just to get it stuck to the surface. And again, taking my largest circle cutter, I'm going to take the part that has the seam and I'm going to place it at the top of the clay. That way I cut away that messed up little part that it leaves. You do want to make sure that you leave a little bit of room at the top, but more room at the bottom. And then cut out your shape. And I have this little wiggly, swirly, doobie-dabby little cutter. It leaves like a little crinkle pattern on there. So I'm going to start at the top. And you'll just have to bend it pretty good. And then cut off just a little bit. Take your time and go slow. Otherwise you will have to cut out a new white little shape or whatever color clay you used. Just go nice and slow. And then to cut out the bottom, I want to line it up so that the two pieces match up there on the corner. And just about almost touch there. Sorry, my hands were a little shaky today. And then, sorry, you can't really see it at this cut, but in a minute I'll do the other side and you can see it a little better. But I'm basically just starting at the top of one of the little curved pieces and making my cut mark go all the way down the side until it reaches the bottom. So everything is nice and flush. The white clay against my cutout piece. As you can see right here, right at the base of where that dip is. Just take it and pull it down. Go all the way to the bottom and cut away all of that excess. And if it bothers you, you can smooth out the sides like I'm going to do. Just be very careful so that you don't smush your white clay. But this is totally optional. If it doesn't bother you that they aren't beautifully, seamlessly stuck together, then you can skip this part. But I wanted it to look beautiful. I did the same to both sides. For the center part, I'm going to take this small little ball of white clay and put it down in between the baked clay and my clay that is not baked. Just using a tool so that I can press it down a little bit because this ball is bigger than that space. And I do want to try to get it to drop down as close to the center as possible, which of course it does not do. So I'm just going to manipulate it a little bit and get it pulled over to the center. This is the little ball that will hold the dangly pieces, so I do want it to sit directly in the middle. And that just about did it. And then you can place it down on a flat surface and just give it a nice gentle push and this will get the clay to stick together a little bit. Baking, do need to put in a stick pin so we can glue in our finding afterwards. Just trying to get it as centered as possible and as close to the middle as possible so that my metal stick lays in there perfectly in the center. And there you go. Now this is the bottom half of the circle I cut out. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to cut off 2 pieces, one larger than the other. And with each of those, I'm going to roll them into a ball. And these are going to be the little danglies from the necklace piece. And then be sure to place in a stick pin so you can put in your findings once it's baked. Place that on a piece of paper or your baking surface and put that in the oven and bake it. Alright, time to assemble. Just remember, remove all of your stick pins. And I have made a eye hook with a very long stem on it that I will place inside. And I made a small one with 1 jump ring and another one with 2 jump rings. You'll want to place these on the larger eye hook. And then place on your balls and place that into the base. I did put a little bit of resin just on the top part here where it's domed, and then just around the sides here, all the way around, and then right here at the top. I didn't put any in the bottom, and I did not put any on the back. You can if you wish. I have drilled in a hole on both sides. And this is the wire I'm going to use, and I'm going to use these rose gold colored findings. And I just assembled my necklace, and this is it. I really like it. Kind of looks like one of those awnings above like a business doorway. But it's kind of pretty. I like it. It's unique and different, and that's what I'm kind of going for here. Again, I truly appreciate you watching my video, especially if you made it to this point. And please consider hitting that subscribe button. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye!